I'm great and grateful. Let the record show. What about you?
I'm good. It's Monday morning, right? And you always say Monday morning, get up and get going. So
Yes,
doing good.
absolutely. It's a wonderful thing to be here today.
I know. How was your weekend?
It was great. Had a very creative weekend, and I'm excited about this week because I'm using this time to be creative and to do some things that I have not done to get my life in order and and begin to focus on how can I maximize what I have done up to this point and take it to the next level. I'm not going to settle for where I am now. I'm not going to allow the cemetery to rob me of my gifts. I'm going to continue to be the gift that keeps on giving and giving and giving.
I like it. I like it. I What are some of the ways you keep yourself creative? You keep your creativity up.
Well, like for instance, one of my students gave me this bracelet here, and so I said, "Whoa, this is great. People like Grace bracelets, and they know that I'm a Mickey Mouse fan, so they got a little Mickey Mouse on here." And my granddaughter Cleopatra, she has a new product line, and I thought about, you know what? I know some young kids that are doing some creative things, and I'm going to have a show that will feature young people and their ideas and their inventions and their products and promote them. So my goal is to stay busy promoting young people and speakers that I train and so that they can begin to take their notoriety, their credibility, and grow their audience because of the platform that we're going to create for them. I could have gotten here faster if somebody would have done that for me when I started out years ago. So I have an opportunity to do it for others.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Yes. I think at this point, everyone knows you're a Mickey Mouse fan, right?
Yes, I think so.
Well, let's see where people are watching us from today. We've got Mitzi from Jamaica.
Hello, Mitzi.
We've got Scotland.
All right.
Let's see. New Jersey, Rebecca.
Jersey. Jersey in the house. Rebecca Becca Boo.
A lot of people from Scotland today.
Shirley, Babing, Manerly, Shirley.
I wonder what time it is in Scotland. I bet it's nighttime. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, they say Trinidad and Tobago locked on.
All right, Marlene.
All of. I love how many people on here also call you Uncle Les. South
Okay.
Carolina.
Yes. Okay. In South Carolina. Hi, Wanda.
Pennsylvania. And New Mexico. I bet it's nice and warm there.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
And one of your neighbors over here.
Linda, how are you?
In South Africa.
Okay.
So we got people from everywhere today. Very excited. Mondays. We need this on Mondays, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
What are you going to be talking to us about today?
I'm going to talk about how to stay up during down times. And I'm going to do an interview with one of my speakers that we were entangled in a communication process during the training. I should say we talk back and forth. And one of the great things about working with her, she knows how to take a story and she can expand it and bring it to life. But more importantly, there are a lot of people, domestic abuse has increased. And so she's one of those individuals that she has experienced that. And there are a lot of people that's trapped with their abuser. So I'm going to talk with her about how did you handle this? What do you do? How do you stay up during the times when you're with somebody in a relationship? It's toxic, it's gone south. How do you maintain your sanity? And talk about the things that one can do to transition out of that, but also allow her to give us a message around the experiences that she's had. We give a message out of our mess, and she's really good at doing that. So I'm just really excited about talking to Angelica.
And she was actually here for a short time Friday, and so many of y'all asked to see her again. So I'm super excited. So I'm going to jump out of here. Let me know when you want me to bring her in, and have fun.
I want you to bring her in now. Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm blessed to see you.
Oh, wonderful. It's blessed
Yeah.
to see you as well.
We've had some interesting conversations, and I want to ask you, Angelica, first of all, thank you so much for being with us. When did you first hear me? When did you become familiar with my voice?
When I came familiar with your voice, I was about 15 when I came familiar with your voice.
How? Who introduced you?
My parents
Your
introduced me
parents
to you.
introduced you to it, yeah.
Yes.
And so, what, as you think about yourself and your goals and dreams, what's the major goal that you want to achieve with your story and your voice?
It's to touch someone's heart, to help them and inspire them to see that anything is and everything is possible. For them to
Hmm.
know that they can change their life. Doesn't matter where you're at or what you're doing, that you can have something better, you can have something brighter, you can have something more rewarding. And it
Hmm.
took me to go through my trials and tribulations for me to be able to say that. And as you said, our story is someone's survival guide. And I came to realize that my story can help so many people because it helped me. So I get to share that, and it's an honor to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's an honor to work with you. One of the things I love about you, you are a perpetual student. You study.
Yes.
I was telling you about some books I've read, and you wrote the names out and you ordered the books. I said, oh, this one is coming for me. I want you to know I'm not scared of you, all right? But what really I find fascinating about you, you are so feisty.
Yes.
You're 5'5",
I'm 5'5", yes.
and your former husband was 6'2".
He was yes, 6'2".
Yeah. And so y'all used to do battle.
Oh, yes. We sure. Yes, we did. When I think about it, yes.
And you fought back.
Yes, I did. I
And
did
you
every
said you
time.
could, you said you used to box?
Oh, yes, I did. Had to take care of myself.
One of the things that really got me, you said he told you, I'm going to have to knock you out. Because you won't stop.
He told me he was going to have to knock me out because he was like, you keep getting back up. And I was like, I'm going to keep getting back up. This is not going this direction. We're not doing this. I was feisty and I was going to protect myself whatever cost. And in that process, I didn't realize my own thinking in that process of when that was taking place until at the end of it. And I was like, oh my goodness, look, I've always been confident, always been a fighter, always striving to know I can do something better, and I was not going to allow that situation to make me feel less than. But in the same sense, I did in some ways in my behavior.
What do you mean by that?
It's because I didn't realize that my thoughts were creating that situation. The thoughts I was choosing was creating that situation, causing me to be in that situation. When I aligned with him, it's because there were some things I didn't want to deal with in myself that I didn't see that was already in him. He was like my mirror. So he was only telling me things that I had been telling myself that I didn't want to admit to myself. And it seemed like in that situation, I loved him more than I loved myself. And at the moment I started saying, I love me, not saying I love you, but I love me, at that moment was when my life started changing because I started saying things to myself that I had never said before. It was like in that time, he would say things that would give me validation, that would make me feel good about myself because I wasn't saying those things about myself. And in the process, then he would be kind to me. We would go through the physical altercation. And then afterwards, he would apologize to me and say he loves me. And I needed that loving because of whatever reason at that time. And then I realized that at the end was that I loved me more than he loved me. And when I realized that I loved me more than he loved me and I valued me more than he valued me, it was easy for me to walk away from that situation.
Well, I'm glad that you chose to be a part of the Power Voice group. And what I like for you to do is do a showcase of how one can use their story to impact and benefit and provide value for others, how what we deal with, what we handle in life can be a guide for others to help them to extract themselves from a toxic, negative, emotionally and physically abusive relationship because everybody can't box like you.
They do in their own way. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They do. In their own way, they do.
Aaron, I want you to give her full screen and I want to hear your presentation.
How are you doing? Ah, this is such a beautiful time, isn't it? Such a beautiful time. So you have to remember how extraordinary you are, how wonderful you are. There was times where I didn't even realize that about myself. There was times where I couldn't even say kind words to myself because I was sitting in my own mess. Not even realizing how wonderful, how unique and special I was, regardless that people were around when we were telling me that. Until I started telling myself that. So I telling myself how wonderful and how unique and how great I was. I remember one time I was sitting there listening to Les, and he was at the Georgia Dome, and he was talking about a possibility. And I remember how many times I had to tell myself it was a possible, even though I was in that situation and I was going through that it was possible. There was something greater. There was something better for me. I remember looking at my children and having my children look at me with the eyes of Goethe, who said, look at a man as he is and he will become worse. But look at a man as he could be, he will become what he should be. And I remember my son told me, Mommy, only if you would play. He was telling me how to imagine. Because at that time, I didn't even know how to imagine. I couldn't even dream bigger than what I was dreaming because I was dreaming something so small. Sometimes we have a little challenge dreaming something great. Trying to get out of our head and actually get into our heart. Sometimes our hearts get closed in because of things that happened to us in childhood and that we don't want to deal with. See, they tell us that we have over 70,000 thoughts in a day. 5% of our thoughts, which is 3,500, are new thoughts. But that means 95% of our thoughts, which is 66,500, are from past experiences. See, in my world, I was replaying and repeating and reminding myself of things of my past. I wasn't focusing on my future because I didn't even really know what my future was until someone asked me and told me that I could change one word, and that one word becomes a sentence, and that sentence becomes an idea, and that idea becomes an experience. When I sit back and think about it, it's such an amazing experience. When I started saying it's possible for a better relationship. It's possible for a better experience. I remember looking at my children and knowing that I had to make a difference. I had to make a change because I didn't want my son to be in that type of situation. And I daggone sure didn't want my daughter to go through what I was going through. And as they were looking at me, I knew they were experiencing it because even though they don't talk about it, we don't talk about it as much as we used to, they still remind me, Mommy, you made it through. You conquered. I had to conquer myself more than conquer that situation. I have people tell me, oh, you're a survivor. No. I have conquered that. I'm thriving in a totally different way. I had to reinvent myself. I had to become a better woman than I had ever been before. I had to tell myself things I had never told myself. I had to do things I had never done before. I had to be someone who I had never been before. I had to go where I had never gone before. I had to read books that I had never read before. I had to write a script and tell myself what type of woman I wanted to become. Because I had a very pessimistic attitude about myself. I was always saying negative things to myself. I was never really saying positive things to myself. But when I took on optimism, when optimism comes from the Latin word optum, that means looking for the best, I had to tell myself that I was a wonderful person when I wasn't telling myself I was wonderful. I had to tell myself that good things could happen to my life even when I wasn't telling myself. I had to repeat and remind myself that there was beauty in the world, even though when I was looking at myself in the mirror, sometimes I couldn't even look myself in the eyes. And to that day, I told myself when I looked myself dead in my eyes and I said, I love me. So I got so used to telling other people I love you that somewhere along the lines, I didn't even know how to say that to myself because I was looking for love in all the wrong directions and all the wrong places. From the music I was listening to, the television shows I was watching, the books I was reading. And at the moment I started saying, I love me, my life started changing. Because I started looking for the value and all the good that could happen in my life. I started asking myself, what would I enjoy doing? And I remember when I said I enjoyed going back to school, that would be something that made me feel good. So I started doing things that made me feel good. I remember when I said I needed to get out of bed because my children were sitting there watching me in the bed. And if I didn't get out of bed, what would I do? So I started putting music on so I could dance my way through my restrictions. So I started getting up and dancing. I would find every moment to make sure that I was laughing. Every second of the day, I had something on that was going to make me laugh, because see, laughter is good for the soul. We're told in scripture, a joyful heart is good medicine. So I started laughing. Every chance I get, I would get in the mirror and I would just laugh at myself, because guess what? No one can laugh at you better than you can laugh at yourself. No one can tell you how wonderful and you're in a conversation than you can tell yourself. So I had to rebuild my self-talk. See, you got to rebuild your self-talk, because see, you got greatness in you. And at the moment you start telling it's possible that you have greatness in you, and you start reminding yourself, oh, the world opens up to you. You get to see things that you never thought you'd ever seen before. You got people come and tell you how wonderful and how extraordinary you are. And then when you tell people your story, and you tell them what you've been through and what you had to go through, they tell you how wonderful. Thank you for sharing your story, because it's helped me. See, you have something amazing in you, which makes you unique, makes you special, makes you one of a kind, because see, there will never, ever be anyone as wonderful, as extraordinary, as significant as you. See, I'm only a reflection. I'm only a mirror, only here to remind you what you already know, but you might have forgotten, or you might not have told yourself, or you might just need a little bit of encouragement. So I'm just here to give you that encouragement, to tell you can do it. Today is the day. So I don't know what your situation is. I don't know what the problem you might be facing. But I'm just here to tell you that it can be better. It don't have to be a defining moment. You don't have to stay stuck in that situation. Because see, you are worth way more than gold and silver. And when God calls you, God is going to call you. And there's nothing that anyone can do, because it's time for you to get out of that situation. And you might not have thought about that, but let me tell you, it is your time. This is your moment. This is your defining moment. This is the opportunity for you to make a difference, for you to change, for you to become better, for you to have a brighter, more rewarding life. Because you know why? You deserve it. And no one, there will never, ever, ever be anyone as wonderful, as extraordinary as you. So you are one of a kind, and is only one of you. So make this world the best that you can make it. Make it brighter than whatever you ever thought about making it. And if you never thought about making it bright, guess what? This is your time. This is God speaking through me to speak to you, to tell you, come on, we can do this. We can do this together. Because see, I didn't have someone saying that, but at the same time I did. I just wasn't listening to them when they came and was nudging me. But when I heard Les Brown, and I heard my mama and my daddy telling me, you have to make something different. You got to become better. And of course, when I looked at my children, I knew that my life had to become something better for them. And today, I went from being a caterpillar, gathering information. I went into a cocoon. I became like liquid, reshaped, remolded, resculpted myself. And now I have my wings and I'm soaring. So if I can do it, you surely can do it too. So I just came to tap on your heart a bit, to pull that greatness out of you, pull that story out you, pull that voice out of you that's already within you. And by me doing the Power Voice Summit, now you get to see the woman I am. I've always been her. I just at one point was too afraid to show her. Now it's your turn. Much love to you.
Ooh, excuse me, Miss Lady. I want you to know I ain't scared of you. Oh my goodness. You did an incredible job.
Thank you.
Yes, I know there are people that resonate with you. I'd like to see some feedback from them. Share with people the benefit of the Power Voice experience. When you saw me going through the various things, when I work with you on your story, share with people what you were experiencing and how this has impacted your telling your story.
It's everything. It was everything. You know, there was things that I was ashamed to talk about, that I didn't want to talk about. I couldn't see the beauty in those things. And as we worked together, you showed me how beautiful they were, regardless of how good they were or the not so good. Nothing was random that happened in my world, because it was able to give someone else hope where they might not have had hope before. You know, have someone who might have been doubting if it's possible, that realize that it's possible through my story. I learned that through you. I learned that with you. And as well as the group of people that we were all I was in the course with, that our stories matter, that we matter. And the fact that you gave us validation and told us how great we were and told how we had greatness within us. There was times, some of us didn't want to say that to ourselves. It's hard to stand in the mirror and look in your eyes and say you have greatness in you when that's not your inner conversation. That's the conversation that you normally tell yourself. And how many times you have to tell yourself that? I had to tell myself that at least 50 plus times a day that I had greatness in me. And not just that I had to tell myself that, I had to tell everyone else around me so that I could remind myself that I had greatness as I was reminding them that they had greatness. As well as all the other components of the story that you taught us. Watching you, learning how to move my body, how to be experienced, how my story is an experience. And the energy behind me, that I am the energy of my story. And if I was not able to fall in love with my story, fall in love with who I am, then how could I express my story that would help someone else to be able to fall in love with themselves? And you taught me that. And I'm so honored for that.
Well, I'm honored to be able to work with you and the others that are focused and dedicated to making a difference, because now more than ever, we need individuals like yourself to share their story. Because before the coronavirus, the suicide rate in this country had increased to 32%, and the suicide rate among kids from 5 to 11 has increased over 70%. And so we need voices of hope. We need to change the conversation in our households and put in recordings where we're taking kids to school. Our kids are going through a lot right now with this online training. This affecting kids psychologically. And it's affecting parents, and it's affecting teachers. Many of these teachers are quitting because we've never been in this kind of place before. And it's going to take a minute to make the adjustment to stabilize things. And so your voice, there are people who will hear me, but there are people that will hear you. You got it like that because of your energy, because of your presence, because of your charisma, and because of your voice. You're going to impact and change thousands, millions of lives. I see that for you, from my lips to God's ears. And I'm honored to be a part of that journey with you.
It's an honor. And everything that you said is definitely...
Tell people how they can get in touch with you, please.
They can find me at iamangelica.love, at angelica.love. You can find me there. You can also find me on Facebook at theangelicalove.love. That's my personal page. And as well as you can find me on Instagram at angelicalove.love. And I look forward to chatting with you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bye from now. Take care. I hope that you are as inspired and motivated as I am because of Angelica and her story and how she has used it now to impact people. This is a time, particularly when we think about our children, this is a time that we really need to multiply voices of hope. And when you listen to all of the incoming from the coronavirus and the mixed messages and the level of anxiety and fear and the new adjustments that we have to make. And sometimes you get frustrated. I was at my granddaughter's house and I was just impacted that she said, "Are you coming to the wedding?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Why?" "It would be too dangerous for me. I'm 75. I want to be there, but it's too dangerous." And she said, "Oh, I understand, Grandpa." And then I went to the reception and I had my mask on and I was uncomfortable. And I stayed there for a little while and then I got out of there, because this corona, it does not care about family gatherings. You let it up in there, you go pay a price. And then I came home, I took all my vitamins and herbs. I was taking everything. I took my wheatgrass and my greens, and I took everything except castor oil. The millenniums don't know about castor oil or Father John or Palmer Christian leaves. But I came in and if I cough, I would spray the particles. They say they stay in the air. So I said, "Well, y'all about to die up in here." you have something special. You're born for such a time as this. This is a time that we need to be concerned but not consumed with fear, as many people are consumed with fear right now, or many people are being reckless and just don't take this seriously. Your life has value. Your life is a gift. Life is God's gift to us, and how we live our lives is our gift to God. And so as you look at yourself, look at your goals and dreams, this is a time to look at yourself as Angelica talked about, and put in the work, put in the work that's necessary to develop yourself mentally and emotionally and spiritually. And part of what I'm doing now is spending a lot of time creating new ideas, creating ways to earn money virtually from the computer, because the computer eliminates geography. So I'm not getting on any more planes. Over 11,000 people have tested positive flying. Well, that's not happening to me. So what I'm doing now, if you got a story, we're going to share with you how to tell that story, how to create an experience with that story, how to hold attention with that story and transform people individually and collectively. And the proof is in the pudding. That's why I want you to see someone that has been in the program and see how well she handled herself. And you can do that too. Just the statement by Steve Jobs, the storyteller is the most powerful person in the world. Why? Because stories transform people. People hunger more than for food and for water. They hunger for stories that can lift their spirits, particularly now when you're inundated with all of like 5,000 hits on our minds every day, advertising different messages, trying to get territory, set up camp, and renting space in our minds. We have to carve out a place that we take care of ourselves. I'm encouraging you. 1, listen to positive messages. 2, turn off the tell lie vision. 3, do something creative. I'm taking singing lessons. I'm training speakers, and I'm exercising. I'm about to take yoga and qigong and working on me. And I'm looking for someone who have some edges that can cut my kid flat top. Oh, behave. And I'm being joyful and enjoying myself, making you laugh, making you feel good. Because even though I can't see you, here's what I know about you. You're going through some stuff. These are tough times. You got to be tougher. And as Robert Schuller once said, tough times never last, but tough people do. And you're stronger than you realize. You are more than a conqueror. We cannot say that enough, because we have all type of negative voices fighting to get our attention and to get in our ears and to get before us. This is your time. You're still here. Life is on your side. If it wasn't on your side, you'd be taking a dirt nap. Yes, you're powerful, more than you realize. Simba, you're more than that which you have become. I love that line in Lion King. And so I leave this with you. You have something special. You have greatness in you. You're ready to get that story out. I want you to put voice in the comment section. Allow me to work with you as I'm doing now with Angelica. Allow me to work with you. If you're serious about this, I can share with you that when you have a coach that's experienced and that achieved a lot, a coach can take you to a place in yourself that you can't go by yourself. Why? Because you can't read the label when you're locked in the box. I want you to put voice in the comment section. If you want to increase your presentation power, put voice in the comment section. If you have a business that you want to grow and attract more customers, because you are the storyteller for your business. If you're involved in sales, real estate, finances, multi-level marketing, wherever you are in your corporate career and you want to advance yourself, the people that are the most effective people in the corporate setting are people that can present themselves. That's name of the game. You got to show that you know how to think on your feet and be able to influence and impact people, bring the best out of people, and teach them how to be engaged even though they're far apart. Put voice in the comment section. Thank you so much again, Angelica. You got the butter from the duck, as Dr. Anthony Sweeting would say. Great presentation. Powerful. This has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's Baby Boy. Aaron?
Man, we got so many comments. I wish I could have pulled up the one from Angelica. They loved her and they said, thank you, Angelica, for your story. A lot of people said, oh my gosh, that's my story. So she touched a lot of people's hearts today.
Wow, that's great. Yes. I believe that we can, when people, sometimes you're going through stuff, you think you're the only one. And many times you can hear someone else's story, you say, whoa, if she can get through it, then I can get through it. But what gets me, she probably weighed 95 pounds soaking wet, 5'5", and fighting a man 6'2". And he said, I'm gonna have to knock you out. And she said, yeah, because I'm gonna keep on coming back. You're not gonna get away with hitting me. I said, you fought him? She said, yes, I can box. And we were talking, we were on Zoom together. She said, I can box.
I wouldn't mess with her.
And she said, I said, what if he knocked you out? She said, if he did, and he thought about it, that he couldn't go to sleep. I said, okay, now I've heard about Al Green, hot grits. All right. Yeah, my mother used to say that to my sisters. Yeah, if a man ever hit you, just wait till he goes to sleep, baby. Don't say nothing. And just give him a nice pot of hot grits in his face. He won't hit you no more.
On that note,
deterrent.
Jeffrey says, tell your story. We've all got one. I love that.
That's true. That's true, Jeffrey. That is absolutely true. Okay, so I hope that we shared with you some of thoughts for downtimes in this special moment that we had created with her, and we're going to bring some other speakers on as well. I want to thank you so much. Once again, put voice in the comment section if you want us to work with that voice. And what we're doing another speakers summit where we're selecting speakers for that now to give them global and national exposure. So I just enjoy helping speakers bring their story out. It's fascinating. And I know they're coming for me.
There's a lot of
especially her. Yes.
A lot of people. Also, one of the things that happened right when I got into the room earlier is we had about 1 million people from Texas say, hey, we're in Texas watching, give us some love too. So hello to all of Texas.
Yes.
I mean, more comments than I've ever seen from one place.
In Dallas and Houston,
all of
Austin. Yes, all the places there. Yes, I love Texas.
All right, so
Fantastic.
Get on earlier tomorrow, same time, same place. Get on there, Texas, so we can show your comments.
Yes.
Wrap us up, sir.
Oh, well, I like the people. I have a new book called You've Got to Be Hungry. And if you go to IamHungryLesBrown.com, you can order our book. It's got 5 stars from Amazon. You can also get it on Amazon as well. Yes, indeed. IamHungryLesBrown.com. And I'd like to leave this with you. Live your life now. Live it now. I love to repeat Jerry Jackson's mother. Life has no duplicate. You've been given one. Live it now while you're here. This has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's Baby Boy. It's been a plum-pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. Thank you.
We'll see you at the same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.